What's going on, guys? This is Joe Young coming at you another video today. Today I'm going to be setting up my pleco tank outside in the garage. So I set a goal for this week, and I really wanted to move the plecos outside into the rack system so they can actually start growing. The plecos are currently in a 30-gallon tank inside, and it's being occupied by a couple of fish. So a lot of the plecos are kind of fighting for space, not being able to grow in that small little environment. So I wanted to move the starlight plecos, which are my L183 plecos, out into that rack first. I'm most likely going to keep 2 species in each of those tanks, and 2 of the bottom racks are probably going to be pleco tanks. But one of them right now, it's bare bottom, and I'm going to start off with the plecos in there. So what I did first was I checked the parameters to make sure that the system was stable. Obviously, I added, the swordtails initially, everything was fine, and then I added the rainbows and everything was fine. So it's been probably about 2 weeks since, that system has been fully stocked with those 2 fish in there, and the parameters are still reading just fine. So now it's time to add in some more fish. The reason why I'm staggering the livestock in that tank system is because I want the beneficial bacteria to be able to keep up with the bio load. You don't want to always just dump 100% of the tank's stock or whatever you're trying to keep into a system that's brand new, because it's going to go through another cycle or a mini cycle, because it's trying to build up enough bacteria to offset or try to consume the bio load that you're going to be dumping into that tank. So I started off by just doing a quick water change in that rack system, basically cleaning up any debris that was on the bare bottom of the tank, and I went ahead and filled up some new water for that system. Now the water change is very small compared to the overall system, but I just wanted to really clean the debris and clean the junk out of that tank. So I ended up having to remove all the decorations in the tank to catch them, because they go between the crevices, between the little holes, and it's really hard to catch them. I did end up keeping the pleco caves in there because I actually wanted to try to force them into that cave and really pick up the cave and just kind of dump it outside into the net, and it would be way easier to catch versus running them around against the glass and whatnot. Once I caught all the starlight plecos, I went ahead and added them into that tank, and man, I was really excited to add them in. Once they hit the water, they really scattered everywhere and way back into the darkness. Currently in that system, I just have driftwood that has been floating, and I'm just waiting for it to sink. And if it floats, that's fine too, because it actually adds a new dimension into the tank where the plecos can kind of like cling onto the wood, in kind of like the mid to top tier if the wood was floating. I went ahead and also added in some pleco caves, obviously for breeding purposes when they get older. These guys aren't anywhere near breeding stage, but probably in a year and a half to 2 years, they'll probably get to that size where they can actually start breeding. But also the cave kind of acts as a little home or a hiding place for them. Now my idea was to kind of add the caves facing opposite of each other. So if I have one facing forward, I would flip the other one and face it the other way, so that eventually when they do get bigger, they don't have to kind of fight the neighbors, because if you look left and right, it will be the backs of the other caves, and I think that design or that layout will be a lot better for them. And plus the rack is set up to kind of see on both sides anyways, and so I can kind of glance and look at the plecos on either side. As I mentioned in the previous video, I had a bunch of other fish in quarantine, and I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek at some of the plecos that I've been keeping for a while now in terms of quarantine, and I think they're ready to be shown.
Standing in a glass boat at the end of a black hole, cold, lost and upside down. Faces swirling past me, all my memories rolling vastly.
So first off, you probably got a glimpse of them when I was catching the starlight plecos. They were sharing the same tank, but I have some leopard plecos in this tank. They are the L134 species, and currently I only have 3 of these guys in the tank. I did buy 5 initially, and 2 of them did die. I bought 3 wild caught ones, and then I bought 2 other tank raised ones, which were the smaller ones. The wild caught ones are kind of a hit or miss, as any other fish, right? It's really hard to kind of adjust them or adapt them. But the benefits of a wild caught one is generally they're a lot bigger, almost adult size, and the price is actually a lot more affordable and actually cheaper than tank raised ones. So I kind of rolled the dice there and actually ended up losing 2, probably within the 2nd week of quarantine. But for me, I really like the pattern and the color of the plecos. They kind of reminding me of a zebra almost, but when they're younger, they are more of a yellow color, and as they get older, they lose the yellow. But some of them do keep the yellow, but they turn more of like a whitish black with stripes, so they kind of look like a little tiger. And the next pleco I want to show you guys is a super rare pleco. Actually, it's really hard to find in the US for whatever reason, and if you do find them, they are generally pretty expensive, almost, you know, up there with some of the higher end plecos. But these are the 397. They're called red tiger plecos. They're super nice. You can Google it if you want to see what they look like as an adult. Right now I just have juvenile, so they don't really show their true patterns and color, but if you guys Google it, it looks super nice. So right now in this little tank right now, I have 5 of these guys, and I've had them for about 3 months now. Really just, you know, like I said, in quarantine, and just making sure they eat, making sure they're healthy, making sure, you know, they're doing fine before I share the actual fish for you guys. Now, if you already Googled this fish in terms of an adult size, the pattern is ridiculous. The color is ridiculous. It literally looks like a little tiger with the stripes, with the patterns. It's just a beautiful pleco. So if you guys get a chance to get them, you know, check them out, pick them up. But right now, I think there are some vendors out there that are slowly bringing them in, but you're looking to pay at least 90 bucks for a little one, and probably anywhere up to 150 for about the same size, depending on the vendors. Oh, and then also in the same tank, that's where I'm keeping the swordtail fries. As you can see here, they're doing really well. A lot of them are growing pretty fast, but they're also coloring up really nicely. They actually, a lot of them has the black and the orange and the white already pronounced in their pattern. So probably give them a couple more months and they'll probably grow into some nice little kois. Yeah, as you can see, this video is really just dedicated to my pleco setups, and probably, you know, for the future moving forward, I'm gonna be trying to breed some of these guys. So it's kind of just like a fun little project that I want to try. So right now I have 4 different species of plecos that I'm keeping. The zebras, inside they have their own dedicated tank. And then outside in the rack, I am going to put probably 2 different species in each of the lower rack tanks. So right now I have one spot that's open for another species of pleco. I'm debating between a couple of them. Right now, one of them I can't find, and they're just crazy expensive and they grow really big. So I don't think I can do that one at all. But the other species is also very hard, and actually they're more expensive than zebra plecos. So I don't know if I can get my hands on them at all, just because they're super rare. So if those don't pan out, I would have to think of another species to keep in there with them. Or what I can do is kind of just leave that one blank, and when I do have fry or something, I can just grow them in that tank. But I already kind of have some quarantine tanks and some other random tanks inside the house that I can probably just keep the pleco fries in. So I don't think I want to waste that space there. So if you guys have any plecos that you really like, leave them in the comments below. I don't know all my plecos, obviously, but maybe, you know, if there's a pleco that I've never seen or never heard of and I need to check out, you know, let me know in the comments below what your favorite plecos are, and I'll definitely check them out to see if it's something I want to try to keep. And also make sure you guys check out my 5,000 subscriber contest. You guys can win some dragon stones or an 88 diffuser. I'll leave it in the description below and also somewhere in here. So make sure you guys check out that video and leave a comment. It's really easy and, you know, randomly picked, so you might win. Alright guys, that's the update for the week. I hope you guys enjoy the update. If you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys leave a comment below, like, share, do what you guys do. And until next time guys, peace.
All done by my own hand. I allow my feelings to become sad. If you're gonna cut me down, better do it quickly now. Now you can cut me down, but I won't stay for long. I'll grow back again. Oh yeah, my roots are strong.